Hey, great. Thank you for the introduction and for the opportunity to speak today on quality metrics. I understand that I'm the last speaker between you and a panel where you can ask really difficult questions to Cindy and Francis. So I will work on getting through my slides today. So I will be talking today about quality metrics, which has been an initiative of Office of Pharmaceutical Quality and CDER and CBER for several years now. So this slide you have seen multiple times today, but this is actually a little different. So you could take a look, because many manufacturers use quality metrics. They use data to monitor quality control and continually improve their product and process quality. This is true in the technology, in tech, in automotive, and other industries, and drugs should be no different. Drug manufacturers have so much data, similar to what was discussed much earlier today. A lot of drug manufacturers have data in batch records, and it's just kind of sitting on a shelf, right? In a PDF document, kind of similar to some of the FDA documents as well. There's a lot of data out there that manufacturers have that can be harnessed. And this is one of the initiatives that OPQ has been looking at in the last several years. So it's been about 6 years since we started talking about quality metrics. Dr. Woodcock has been talking about this since around 2013. There's actually a Federal Register notice published for drug shortages in 2013, where there was a question in there that asked the industry, what metrics do you use that help you better understand or better manufacture your products and help you understand potential drug shortages? So that's really where a lot of this started. And then there's been a huge amount of industry discussion, lots of conferences and meetings. There was a Brookings meeting in 2014 where a lot of manufacturers and FDA were present having an open discussion. PDA has been doing some work in this area, the Parenteral Drug Association as well, started on their quality culture tool development. So in 2015, we pulled together all this discussion and information and published the first draft guidance for industry called Request for Quality Metrics, in which we laid out 7 different metrics that would be part of a reporting program for the agency. We received a lot of feedback. Maybe some of you are familiar with the feedback that we received. At the same time, we also put together a SBIA webinar as well, so thanks to SBIA for that, in conjunction with the publishing of the draft guidance, as well as holding a public meeting in August 2015 as well. So we could really discuss some of the issues that came out a few months after publication. ISPE, International Society of Pharmaceutical Engineering, also initiated a pilot as well to test some of the metrics that were part of our program. And then in 2016, we also published a I guess we've been busy, I don't know, technical conformance guide for quality metrics to provide guidance on actually how the information would be submitted through the IT system. We also published a revised draft guidance for industry in 2016 towards the end on the submission of quality metrics data, okay, which is the current revision that's out now, and I'll talk about that in a couple slides. There was also an associated SBIA webinar and article. ISPE did run a second pilot as well. We also started our collaborative grant with St. Gallen University, which Cindy teed up very well a couple sessions ago. So I will talk about that as well. And then in 2017, St. Gallen published their first year report. 2018, with the feedback from 2016 and 2017, feedback from different trade associations, scientific organizations, and independent individual companies, we opened 2 separate programs, and I will talk about those as well. So the Quality Metrics Site Visit Program and the Quality Metrics Feedback Program. St. Gallen also published a Year 2 report, and we initiated the site visits in 2018. And then in 2019, we completed the site visits. And extended the feedback program, initiating the feedback program, and then the St. Gallen Year 3 report. They are very much on time, so I anticipate that this will be published in the next couple months within the year. Okay, and so in 2020, I anticipate continuing the feedback program. So the St. Gallen Research that we've been working on has been a 3-year effort with St. Gallen, but much longer for them. So St. Gallen is the branch that we were working, the group that we were working with is the Graduate Business School. They have been working on benchmarking pharma manufacturers since 2004. They have probably almost 400 different facilities in their database where they give them a questionnaire, okay, and then the facilities fill out this questionnaire, and it's probably like over 200 to 300 questions that that the company responds to, and they're KPIs, so quantitative data, as well as some qualitative questions on more cultural type aspects. And then they take all that data and benchmark it, and they provide an output report for the company that is part of the benchmarking. And they say, this is where you are with respect to the other companies that have participated in this study. So they have a large body of data in which to do different types of analyses, like the regression analysis and other types of analytics tools that are possible. So we've been working with them to help focus where our question is, which is on PQS effectiveness and the different factors that go into PQS effectiveness. They are a business school, so they started this research in the benchmarking really from an operational excellence perspective. Okay, so this was one way to help to frame the research in a perspective for the PQS effectiveness and focus on the quality output in the patient. Okay, so in looking at the way that they set up a model for PQS effectiveness, the research and the data analysis does indicate that quality metrics programs are a good business practice. Companies that have better KPIs and other better indicators are finding that this is good for business. And this is one of the conclusions in their year 1, as well as year 2, and probably year 3 report as well. They also concluded that the measurable key performance indicators in the draft guidance are reasonable and do make sense for a regulator. And I can explain that a little bit further on the next slide. They also recommended to regulators to not only focus on the KPIs, but also incorporate different cultural excellence factors as well. So recognizing that quality culture, cultural excellence is also very important in this whole approach. So those are their recommendations. Okay, so these are the metrics that are currently described in the revised draft guidance from 2016. And you'll see it's not just the metrics, just these 3. They really fall into 3 key buckets. So the first one is the robustness of the commercial manufacturing process. Okay, so what is the best metric to study robustness of the commercial manufacturing process? And the one that's been discussed the most, with the most robustness in terms of definitions, is the lot acceptance rate. Okay, so that's what's described in the guidance. We're also looking at a quality metric for a key performance indicator that will help to characterize the robustness of the laboratory operation. Okay, so you have the robustness of the manufacturing process, robustness of the laboratory operation, and this metric that's described in the guidance is the invalidated out of specification rate. So those OOS results that when the lab initially investigates, if that OOS result is confirmed or not confirmed, they actually find that there was some kind of lab error, whether it's an analyst or maybe a method issue or equipment error for whatever reason. So it's the measurement of the laboratory operation, the robustness. And then lastly, of course, this is about the patient, right? And this is about the voice of the patient and the consumer, and giving that patient a voice. So that KPI associated with the voice of the patient is the product quality complaint rate, because everyone is required to investigate their complaints under 21 CFR 211, or in it's described as well in Q7 as well for API manufacturers. Okay, so what we've seen, and I'll get to kind of what we've seen in terms of site visits, but we are definitely seeing a pattern in terms of different indicators of quality metrics program maturity, or really overall quality management maturity of quality management and quality systems. So companies that are more on the weak maturity side, we're seeing only general or non-specific metrics, kind of a minimal program, so just doing an annual product review, being very reactive to existing problems as well. And really, weak maturity is better than no maturity, right? So this is all on the continuum, okay? This is all about evolution, and we understand that companies are at different places on this continuum. So that's what we're seeing in terms of weak maturity, and then we're seeing an evolution over the last several years, and even longer for companies that have been doing this for longer, where the metrics are more evolved and more specific to their manufacturing operations. Their companies are starting to look at the importance of quality culture at their site, and quality, senior management commitment to quality, as well as using the metrics, right? So it's not just calculating key performance indicators, but it's looking at the changes and looking at improvements that can be made, and using that information in a meaningful way to help make decisions about prioritizing resources and whatnot. Okay, and then moving to what looks like strong maturity is thoughtful metric selection, use of predictive analytics. We're starting to see strong quality culture programs, senior management commitment to quality, and ultimately driving towards continual improvement of the product process and pharma quality system. So FDA can also benefit from metrics. This is not just of value to industry, but FDA as well. We can gain additional insight into the state of quality for the product and facility outside of the inspection, so more quantitative and objective measurement, improve the inspection, the surveillance inspection scheduling model that Cindy talked about, help improve the effectiveness of inspection, so focus more, help to identify factors leading to supply disruption, and really this is part of that overall effort in measuring an effective PQF, so it supports Q10 and Q12 as mentioned. Okay, so the current programs, I promised to talk about the current programs, are intended to learn about existing practices, okay? So we are currently in a learning mode, and we are always in a learning mode, right? So it's all about continual improvement and improving our programs as well. So what we currently have open is the feedback program. This is a program to solicit information from drug manufacturers that have implemented and are currently using quality metrics programs. Any data shared is for demonstration or informational purposes only, so we're not looking to integrate this information into the frequency inspection models or use the information in any way to drive inspections. It's really just to learn about different quality metrics programs and quality culture programs. Okay? It is still open. We invite anyone who's interested to submit a request for meetings through the feedback, through the instructions in the Federal Register notice. If you have any questions, feel free to send an email to the general mailbox or send an email to me, and we can talk about any questions that you have. Our site visit program is currently open in terms of we have concluded all our site visits, which are on-site learning opportunities for FDA staff involved to learn about quality metrics programs, gives stakeholders an opportunity to explain their program on-site, kind of like a Gemba walk, if you will, right? To be able to like walk through the process and talk to all the people that are involved and to understand all the different programs and the differences. So the last day to submit a package for this was December in 2018. So that has closed, and we want to thank all of the volunteers who submitted their name for the site visit program. So getting back to the feedback program, because it is still open. So for applicants, This is under the use of, there's existing meeting mechanisms. The use of that is for convenience only, so this is getting at the administrative portion of actually how to submit a request. There's no impact on pending or planned applications. It does not become part of your application or approved in any way. It's just for a mechanism. For non-applicants, you don't have the Type C type meeting option available to you, so there is a pilot that's established. So API manufacturers, contract manufacturers, OTC monograph manufacturers, marketed unapproved finished drug product manufacturers, you're welcome to come in through the pilot as well. So the deadline is December 30th, 2019. And we have a frequently asked questions document on our website. There's a link at the end for anyone who has questions about this. So really the format, the information that's submitted, the duration of these meetings are flexible. Okay, so come in and talk to us. I know that there are people in here and people that are on the phone that have already come in and asked us questions. And so we look forward to kicking off those meetings shortly. There is a preference that participants that do come in are willing to share and discuss current and or historical data and their programs, such as the lot acceptance rate, the invalidated OS rate, the complaint rate, as well as process performance and capability, the stats associated with that, quality culture, other quality systems metrics, and then on time and full fulfillment of orders as well. And so really this is a learning, this is part of the learning phase for us. So what are our next steps for the quality metrics program? We have completed 15 quality metrics site visits from last December through this month. We have been to a variety of different manufacturers, individual manufacturers, and with a focus on quality metrics and quality culture programs. Our teams have included representatives throughout OPQ, as well as OMQ and ORA, really an effort to share information and share knowledge about what these programs can be in terms of the future of regulating quality. So we have some early learnings that we've put together, but we are continuing to pull together our findings from these visits. It's still a little bit early, but we wanted to share something. And do expect that there is going to be more in the next few months. One of the big findings that we found is that quality metrics and quality programs are a journey. For many companies that we visited, this is something that they have spent several years on, aligning definitions, aligning standard approaches for reporting internally at different sites, connecting the data systems. This has been a challenge, but the companies that have done it have found great value. I mean, this is where quality becomes a competitive advantage rather than just something that they have to do. So it has taken time, but they've also said that it's been very valuable to do. We have been listening to continued concerns regarding data validation, how data will be looked at on inspection, potentially, and how the program will address different types of manufacturers and products. And so dealing with the different needs of the sub-industries is something that we're also taking into account and looking into. So we anticipate that our experiences with the site visits, as well as discussions through the feedback program with actual data, will help to inform our future direction for the metrics program. And the feedback program, we really hope to have a good discussion with manufacturers and be able to discuss different approaches, bounce ideas off of manufacturers. They can share their, you can share your definitions with us, and we can say, hey, what about this part? Did you know, why was this included? Why was this not included? How did that evolve at your company? And we can ask questions about that. We also anticipate that feedback program volunteers will be able to potentially test our portal as well, so our data portal, so that's another opportunity too. So a few key takeaways. One, our current research indicates that metrics and culture programs are a good business practice and an important important element. Okay, we're all ready for the after hours. And an important element of modern pharmaceutical manufacturing. And quality metrics and quality culture programs are mutually beneficial to industry, agency, as well as the patients. Key takeaway 2, while the following categories are not all-inclusive, in order to measure the effectiveness of a pharma quality system, they're a good place to start. Okay, so for companies that have not yet started and you're kind of waiting to see what FDA is going to do, these 3 metrics are a good place to start. Okay, robustness of commercial process, voice of the patient, and lab robustness. And then third, we continue to engage stakeholders to learn more about your existing metrics programs. Our feedback program is open through December. So we encourage you to reach out and contact us if you have questions and to submit your name, and we look forward to additional discussion. So, challenge question. I did not make this as challenging as some other folks did. So, okay, true or false? Robust quality metrics programs enable continual improvement of the product, process, and systems and are mutually beneficial to industry, the agency, and the patient. True, all right. You have won a panel discussion. Okay. So this is our webpage. There's a lot of